If you're looking around at, the economy today and thinking that tying all your income to one physical place or just one single employer, well, it feels a bit old-fashioned, maybe even risky, then you are definitely in the right place. Welcome to the Deep Dive. This is where we try to cut through all that noise online and give you focused, actionable insights.
Yeah, and today we're taking on a pretty big topic, a really big one actually. We're mapping out how people are really making money online right now, sustainable income. Because let's face it, the number of options out there, it can feel overwhelming, right?
Yeah.
Paralyzing almost. So we've boiled it down to 15 current proven methods.
Exactly. And our mission today isn't just to list them off. We're doing a deep dissection. We want to break down the actual mechanics of each model. How does the money really flow? And we'll separate the quick side hustles, the sort of low effort, maybe low reward things, from the strategies that could become genuine full-time careers, high potential stuff. The goal is for you, listening, to understand not just the job title, but how it works and what skills you actually need to make it successful.
Right. And we've grouped these into 4 main areas because they really do operate differently. First, we'll look at trading your time and your skills directly, service-based stuff. Then we move into creating scalable assets, things you build once and sell multiple times. After that, we'll analyze models driven entirely by audience and traffic. Think content creators, influencers. And finally, we'll touch on the extremes. The quick micro-income tasks on one end and long-term wealth building like investing on the other. This structure should really help you pinpoint where your own skills might fit in this whole digital economy picture.
Okay, sounds like a solid plan. Let's unpack this. Section 1, trading time and expertise. This is that service-based model you mentioned, often the quickest way to see some cash flow, right? Because you're using skills you likely already have. No need to build an audience first.
Exactly. And kicking things off here, probably the most classic example is freelancing.
Freelancing. Okay, so at its heart, this just means selling your professional skills directly to clients, usually project by project. And the range of skills, it's massive. We're talking writing, graphic design, video editing.
Oh yeah, social media management, translation, coding like niche coding tasks, API integrations, that kind of thing. The demand is really broad.
And the big change now is the platforms.
Right.
They're really mature.
Incredibly mature. Upwork, Fiverr, Freelancer. They're not just message boards anymore. They're full-on digital marketplaces. They handle payments, escrow, even basic dispute resolution sometimes. That's huge. It lowers the barrier significantly for finding clients anywhere in the world.
It lowers the friction, yeah. But I imagine the competition must be pretty intense, too. You see people starting out on, say, Fiverr, and their rates seem incredibly low. How do you actually move past that? What's the strategy?
That's a really important point. It's often a strategic decision, especially on those reputation-heavy sites. You can't just walk in and charge top dollar with 0 track record, 0 reviews. So the smart strategy, initially, treat those first few lower-paid, quick gigs almost like marketing spend. You're buying reviews, essentially. You do those smaller jobs specifically to build up positive feedback, get that 5-star rating profile going. That social proof is what lets you confidently raise your rates later, pitch for bigger, better projects, and crucially, start defining your niche.
The niche. That comes up a lot. So it's not just being a writer.
No, definitely not. You need to be a writer who specializes in email marketing for tech startups, or a graphic designer focusing on logos for local businesses. Something specific. The clearer your niche, the easier it is for the right clients, the ones willing to pay well to find you, and the more authority you seem to have.
Makes sense. What about pitfalls? Scope creep seems like a big one.
Huge. Scope creep, where the client keeps asking for more and more work that wasn't in the original agreement, can kill your profitability. Successful freelancers get really good at writing tight proposals, clearly defining deliverables and setting boundaries, or, charging extra for revisions beyond a certain point.
But even if you nail the niche in the contracts, it's still trading time for money, fundamentally. Yeah. You don't get paid time off, no benefits. Is that freedom really worth the lack of security for most people?
For many, yes. That control over what projects you take, when you work, and who you work for, that's a massive psychological benefit. But yeah, the practical side remains. Define your service clearly and start building that portfolio immediately. Forget fancy certificates. Clients want to see proof you can deliver results. A simple website, even a PDF showcase, is essential.
Okay. Moving on from those direct production skills. Online tutoring or coaching, this taps into specific knowledge, right?
Absolutely. This is powerful because genuine expertise in almost any field is valuable, and the internet makes the potential market global. We see people making money, tutoring advanced math, specific instruments, fitness training, career advice, even just conversational English practice.
And there are platforms specifically for this too, aren't there?
Yeah, lots. Specialized matching sites like Preply, Cambly, italki, Wyzent. They handle the student finding, the scheduling across time zones, the international payments. It takes a lot of the headache out of it.
But the really successful ones don't just stick to those platforms forever, do they?
Often not. Those platforms are great for getting started, finding initial students, but many tutors and coaches eventually move clients off platform or run their own independent sessions. They might use Zoom or Google Meet, maybe bundle sessions with materials on platforms like Teachable or Kajabi. This gives them total control over pricing and branding.
And that path seems to be about scaling up, moving from just tutoring to something more like coaching.
That's often the growth trajectory, yeah. Tutoring is usually about transferring knowledge, helping someone master a specific subject right now. Coaching is often more about transformation, helping someone achieve a bigger, long-term goal, and it usually commands higher rates. The scalability factor is key here. You might start one-on-one, which is time-intensive, then maybe offer group classes, suddenly you're multiplying your hourly income, and eventually, recorded courses, evergreen content. That's a deliberate move from selling time, a service, to selling a digital asset, a product. We'll talk more about that later.
Got it. Okay. Third method in this first section, remote customer support or being a virtual assistant, a VA.
Yeah.
This sounds like the operational glue holding a lot of online businesses together.
It really is. Think about all these modern companies that operate globally but have no physical office. They still need people to handle operations, right? That's where remote support and VAs come in. And it's often way beyond just answering phones or basic data entry now.
Oh, yeah. What kind of specialized roles are emerging?
We're seeing demand for VAs with specific skills, like launch VAs who know the ins and outs of managing a complex product launch sequence, or VAs who are experts in specific software suites, maybe managing a HubSpot CRM or complex scheduling tools. But yeah, the core tasks still often involve managing email inboxes, handling live chat, scheduling appointments, maybe moderating social media comments.
And the sources suggest this can be a really good entry point. Maybe start part-time and build up.
Definitely. It can scale well. The absolute key skills, though, reliability is number one, attention to detail, and proactive communication. Since you're often the face of the company or handling critical admin tasks remotely, they have to be able to trust you. A great VA doesn't just wait for tasks. They anticipate needs, suggest improvements, organize things efficiently.
Okay, and if someone's looking for this kind of work, where should they focus their job search? Not just the general job boards, I assume?
Probably not the best place. You'll get buried. Better to look at dedicated remote job sites. Think remote.su, flex jobs. Even specific LinkedIn groups focused on remote work or digital nomad roles. These places curate listings from companies that are already set up for remote teams, so your chances are generally better.
Right. Okay, that covers the trading time for money section pretty well. Let's shift gears completely now. Section 2. Creating scalable assets. This is where things get really interesting, I think. Front-loading the work to create something they can sell over and over.
Yeah.
The potential for semi-passive income.
Exactly. This is where you start decoupling your income from the hours you actively work. And the first method here, selling digital products, is the perfect example. Create it once, sell it potentially thousands of times. The effort you put in today can pay off for years.
Sounds like the dream, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But how much effort are we talking up front? And how passive is it really? Does it just run itself once it's made?
Well, semi-passive is probably the more accurate term. The upfront effort can be significant, definitely concentrated. Like writing a comprehensive ebook or designing a pack of unique Photoshop presets takes serious time and skill. Once it's done, the selling part can be quite passive, especially with the right platform. But something like a major online course, that might need regular updates, responding to student questions, keeping the content fresh. That's ongoing work, so less purely passive.
Okay, let's break down some examples. What kind of digital products are we seeing?
Oh, it's a huge range. You've got informational products, think specialized ebooks, downloadable guides, printable planners or worksheets, budget templates, meal plans. Then there's higher value educational content, in-depth online courses on almost any topic imaginable. And utility assets, things people use to do their work, like Lightroom presets for photographers, stock music or sound effects for video creators, website themes, code snippets for developers.
So it's really about packaging a skill or knowledge you already have. A teacher selling lesson plans, a designer selling social media templates.
Precisely. You take something you know or can do and turn it into a digital format that others can buy and use. And getting it out there is easier than ever. Platforms like Gumroad are super simple for creators. Etsy has a whole section for digital downloads. Or you can set up your own store using something like Shopify. These platforms handle the tricky bits, payment processing, secure file delivery. It makes the whole transaction smooth for both the buyer and the seller.
And the best part, no physical inventory, right? The profit margins must be pretty good.
That's extremely good. Your main cost of goods sold is essentially the time and effort you invested in creating the product initially, maybe some small platform transaction fees. After that initial investment, almost every sale is pure profit. It's a very high margin model compared to physical goods.
Okay, sticking with the creative theme, next up is stock photography and video. This is different, though it's a royalties model.
Yeah, totally different mechanism. This is a long game. It's about volume and licensing. You upload high-quality photos or video clips to big platforms. Think Shutterstock, Adobe Stock, Pond5, or some of the major players. Then businesses, marketing agencies, news outlets, anyone who needs visuals can license your work for their projects. Every time they do, you get a small royalty payment.
So I take a nice photo of a sunset, upload it, and wait for the cash to roll in. Sounds a bit too easy.
Huh, if only. It's less about just taking a pretty picture and more about taking a useful picture. And even more importantly, it's about the metadata. The real work in stock media is the keywording and tagging. If your amazing photo isn't tagged with the right search terms that potential buyers are actually using, it'll never get found. It might as well not exist on the platform. Plus, you have to be really careful about legal stuff. Recognizable people. You need signed model releases. Prominent buildings or property. Might need a property release. Without those, the images can't be licensed for commercial use, which drastically limits their earning potential.
Ah, okay. So it's technical, it's keywords, SEO almost, and legal paperwork, not just being a good photographer. And you mentioned volume.
Absolute volume.
Right.
And consistency in uploading. The income only becomes truly passive and significant once you have a huge portfolio, thousands of high-quality, well-tagged assets. A few dozen photos might earn you pennies. A massive, diverse library covering in-demand topics, business, technology, diverse people, lifestyle that can generate a steady stream over time.
Right. Okay, let's talk about models that do involve physical goods, but maybe in a modern way.
Yeah.
Print on demand, POD, and handmade goods. How does POD work?
Print on demand is pretty clever. It basically removes the biggest risk of selling physical products, holding inventory. As a creator, you focus purely on the design and the marketing. You create artwork, upload it to a POD platform like Printful, Teespring, Redbubble, and you choose what products you want that design printed on. T-shirts, mugs, phone cases, posters, tons of options.
And then the platform handles everything else when someone orders.
Exactly. A customer sees your design on a t-shirt on your store, they place an order. The POD platform prints that specific shirt, packs it, and ships it directly to the customer. You never touch the product. Your profit is the difference between the wholesale cost the platform charges you and the retail price you set. The huge advantage is zero upfront costs for inventory. The big challenge: marketing. Standing out, driving traffic to your designs when there are millions out there. You really need to be good at promotion.
Okay, so POD is design and marketing focused. How does that compare to selling traditional handmade goods online? For the artisan, the craftsperson.
That's a different beast. If you're making jewelry, pottery, custom art, candles, you're the one actually making the physical item. You own the inventory, the quality control, the whole process. Platforms like Etsy are huge here, or maybe your own Shopify store, or even selling directly through Instagram shops. These give you the storefront, but because you're handling the physical product, success really hinges on amazing product photography. People can't touch it, so the photos have to sell it, and you need to master shipping, packaging, costs, international complexities, handling returns. It's much more hands-on, logistically.
Yeah.
But you have total control over your brand and quality.
Makes sense.
Okay.
The last one in this scalable assets section, developing apps or software. Feels like the highest effort, but maybe the highest reward.
Definitely potential for high reward, but yes, significant effort and usually requires specific skills coding or a strong partnership with someone who has them. The dominant income model here is often SaaS, software as a service. Think monthly or annual subscriptions. That recurring revenue, even if it's small per user, is incredibly powerful if you can scale it. That's the dream for many online businesses.
And the advice seems to be, don't try to build the next Facebook. focus on a niche.
Absolutely critical. The big successes you often hear about are apps or tools that solve one specific painful problem really well for a particular group of people. Maybe it's a specialized plugin for Shopify that helps with a weird inventory issue, or a simple utility app for, say, musicians to manage their practice schedules. If you solve a real pain point effectively, people will happily pay a recurring fee for that solution.
But again, not quite set and forget it, right? Software needs ongoing work.
Oh, definitely not. It's far from passive in that sense. Software needs constant maintenance. Bug fixes, security patches, updates to keep it compatible with new operating systems or devices. Plus, users expect new features and improvements over time. That subscription income only keeps flowing if the product remains valuable, reliable, and supported. So, yeah, high effort, definitely some risk, but the potential payoff can be enormous.
Okay, that wraps up scalable assets, which brings us neatly into Section 3. Models that are all about building an audience, driving traffic, and then, well, leveraging that reach.
Right. This is where we talk about content creators, influencers, bloggers, people whose primary asset is their audience's attention and trust. First up, content creation itself, YouTube, podcasting, and modern blogging.
The barrier to starting seems low here. A smartphone, a decent microphone, you can technically get started for very little money.
The financial barrier is low, yeah. But the time and consistency barrier is incredibly high. That's the real investment. And honestly, that's why most people who start a YouTube channel or a podcast give up. You have to show up consistently providing valuable or entertaining content for months, maybe even years, before you build an audience large enough to really monetize effectively.
So assuming you put in that work, you build the audience.
Yeah.
Then how do creators make money? It's usually not just one way, is it?
No, the smart ones diversify their income streams deliberately. For stability. So first, you've got ad revenue, directly from the platform, like YouTube ads or podcast ad insertions, usually based on views or downloads. Second, sponsorships. Brands paying you directly to talk about their product or service to your audience. This often pays much better than platform ads once you have decent reach. Third, selling your own products. This links back to our last section. Maybe you sell a digital course related to your content or merchandise like t-shirts. And fourth, fan memberships. Think Patreon, YouTube channel memberships, where your most loyal fans pay a small monthly fee for extra content or community access. That provides a really nice, predictable income base.
Okay, and where does blogging fit in all this? Is writing long articles still a thing when video and audio are so dominant?
It absolutely is, but it's changed. Modern blogging isn't really like keeping an online diary anymore. It's highly strategic. It's essentially an SEO, game search engine optimization. Successful blogs today focus on providing the absolute best, most comprehensive, most valuable answer to specific questions or topics that people are searching for on Google. Think less journal entry, more expert resource hub for a specific niche. Tech reviews, travel guides, financial advice, cooking tutorials.
And once you get the traffic flowing to that blog through search engines,
right,
how do you monetize that effectively? Is it just slapping on some ads?
Ads are definitely a major way, but there's a big difference between basic ads and premium ads. Beginners usually start with Google AdSense. Easy to implement, but the payout per 1,000 views, the CPM, is generally quite low. But once your blog hits a certain traffic level, often around 50,000 sessions a month, you can apply to premium ad networks like Mediavine or AdDrive. These guys work with bigger brands, higher paying advertisers, and their technology is better. So the CPMs are significantly higher. We're talking the difference between...
Amazon Associates is the one everyone knows, right? Linking to products on Amazon. Is that where the main money is?
It's definitely the biggest and easiest to get started with, very common. But often, the most profitable affiliate relationships are with more specialized things. Software tools, online courses, high-ticket physical products. Pretty much any company selling online these days likely has an affiliate program you can join. But the absolute key to making it work isn't just finding programs, it's trust.
Ah, yeah. This is where I can see some friction. How do you recommend products and push affiliate links without seeming, well, sell out? Doesn't it risk damaging the trust you work so hard to build with your audience?
That is the central challenge. Absolutely. It's a balancing act. If all you do is bombard your audience with links, especially for stuff you don't genuinely use or believe in, or for low-quality products, you'll burn that trust incredibly quickly. And then the links won't convert anyway. The most successful affiliate marketers are usually quite selective. They only recommend products they actually use and vouch for. And transparency is vital. You need to clearly disclose that you might earn a commission. Legally, you have to, but ethically, it's also just the right thing to do for maintaining long-term trust.
Okay, makes sense. Now let's look at two models that also rely heavily on traffic, but are quite different operationally. Dropshipping and social media management. Talk us through dropshipping first.
Dropshipping. On the surface, it sounds amazing, right? Run an online store without ever holding any inventory. You set up a storefront, usually using something like Shopify or WooCommerce. You find suppliers, often through platforms like Oberlo or directly via sites like AliExpress, who are willing to drop ship. A customer buys from your store. You take their money, then you place the order with your supplier using the customer's shipping details. The supplier ships it directly to the customer. You pocket the difference, the markup, startup costs are super low.
Okay, if the supplier handles the product and shipping, what's the hard part? Where's the actual work for the dropshipper?
Marketing. 100%. Marketing and customer acquisition, that's the entire game. You're often selling generic, unbranded products that thousands of other people are also trying to sell, so you have to get eyeballs on your store. This usually means mastering paid advertising, Facebook ads, Google Shopping ads, TikTok ads, and that's expensive. Your customer acquisition cost, C1-C2, can eat up your profit margins really fast, especially since margins on drop-shipped goods are often thin to begin with. Plus, you have the challenge of customer service related to things you don't control, like long shipping times from overseas suppliers, product quality issues. Managing returns and chargebacks can be a nightmare. It's definitely not passive income. It's an intense, data-driven marketing operation.
Right. Sounds like a tough game. Now, the flip side, social media management. This sounds like a service catering to businesses that maybe aren't great at that online marketing stuff themselves.
Exactly. So many small businesses, and even some larger ones, know they should be active and effective on social media, but they just don't have the time, the skills, or honestly the interest to do it well. They struggle with creating engaging content, understanding the analytics, knowing when to post, what hashtags to use, all that stuff. If you do understand how platforms like Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok work, and you're decent with simple design tools like Canva, you can offer your expertise as a service, usually for a monthly retainer fee.
That seems like it could scale quite nicely too.
Yeah, the growth path is pretty clear. You start with maybe 1 or 2 clients. You focus on delivering real results, increased engagement, follower growth, maybe even leads. Then you document your process, maybe develop some templates, you get testimonials. Then you can start taking on more clients. Eventually, you might move from doing all the daily posting yourself to hiring other VAs or junior managers to handle the execution, while you focus on strategy, client relationships, and growing the business, maybe even building a small agency.
Okay, interesting. That brings us to our final section. Section 4, looking at the two extremes. Really quick, low-pay tasks versus very long-term, potentially high-reward investing.
Yeah, exactly. We start with the absolute lowest barrier to entry stuff, online surveys and microtasks. And let's be clear up front, this is not a way to make a living. Think pocket money, beer money, that's it.
Okay, so if the pay is minimal, what's the point? Why would anyone bother doing these?
It's all about utilizing truly idle time you'd otherwise just waste. Waiting for a bus, sitting on the train during your commute, maybe relaxing watching TV in the evening. Instead of just scrolling social media, you could be earning a tiny bit of cash. The goal isn't income replacement, it's capturing those small pockets of unproductive time.
And what kind of tasks are we talking about? Are survey sites different from microtask sites?
Yeah, there are slightly different types. You have the survey sites, Swagbucks, Inbox Dollars, lots of others. They mostly pay you for answering market research questions, maybe watching short ad videos. Pay is usually very low, like cents per task. Then you have microtask platforms with Amazon Mechanical Turk, mTurk being the biggest example. These often involve slightly more complex but still repetitive human intelligence tasks, or HITs. Things like identifying objects and images, transcribing short audio snippets, basic data categorization. mTurk can sometimes pay a little better than survey sites, but it requires more focus and accuracy. But again, neither of these should ever be mistaken for a real job or a reliable income stream.
Got it. Pocket money only. Okay, let's pivot completely to the other extreme. Investing in stocks or cryptocurrencies using online platforms. This is clearly long-term wealth building, not quick cash.
Totally different mindset required here. The big change in recent years is how accessible this has become. Fintech apps, Robinhood, eToro, Coinbase for crypto, and many others, depending on your country, have made it incredibly easy to get started. You can often open an account in minutes with very little money. Many allow you to buy fractional shares of expensive stocks or tiny amounts of Bitcoin or other cryptocurrencies. The barrier to entry financially is almost zero now.
But easy access doesn't mean easy money, right? This requires patience. education.
Oh, absolutely essential distinction. We're talking about investing, not trading. Trading is trying to time short-term market swings, very difficult, very risky. Investing is about discipline, regular contributions over a long period, years, decades, aiming to capture the power of compound growth. Success here depends much more on learning the fundamentals, understanding what you're actually investing in, figuring out your own risk tolerance, and crucially, avoiding emotional decisions like panic selling when the market dips. That's where most beginners lose money.
And given how volatile things can be, especially with crypto, that warning about risk feels extra important.
Cannot stress it enough. The absolute #1 rule: do your own research. Understand the asset, whether it's a company stock or a cryptocurrency project, and never ever invest money you cannot comfortably afford to lose completely. Just because an app makes it easy to click buy doesn't reduce the inherent risk of markets going down as well as up. Be careful, be informed.
Wise words. Okay, so we've covered a massive amount of ground, 15 distinct methods, ranging from, earning a few extra bucks with surveys, all the way to potentially building significant wealth through software or investing. It really spans the whole spectrum of the online economy. #tag outro.
It really does. I think the key takeaway is just how diverse the options are. Whether you're leveraging skills you already have through freelancing, or building equity by creating digital products, or navigating the complex world of online traffic with a blog or dropshipping, there are viable paths. But they all require effort and strategic thinking.
So, having broken down all 15, if you had to give one core piece of actionable advice to someone listening right now, someone who's maybe feeling inspired but also a bit overwhelmed, what would it be?
I'd say, align with your skills and commit to consistency. Don't just chase the method that sounds like it makes the most money if it doesn't actually fit what you're good at or interested in learning. Pick one, maybe two methods that genuinely resonate. A good combo could be something immediate, like freelancing for cash flow, combined with something long-term, like building a digital asset. And then, commit. Give it real, consistent effort for at least, say, 6 months before you even think about judging if it's working or switching to something else. The internet rewards persistence, not constant pivoting.
Consistency, focus, and really aligning with your own strengths. Sounds like that's the formula.
Pretty much. Now here's something for you, the listener, to think about as we wrap up. Consider all these methods we discussed. Some rely heavily on building deep expertise like coaching or software development. Others rely more on building audience trust, like content creation or affiliate marketing. Which approach best leverages a unique skill, insight, or advantage that you already possess? And, maybe more importantly, what's the single concrete first step you could take, maybe even today, to overcome that initial inertia and just start creating that first freelance profile, that first digital download, that first piece of content? What's stopping you from just beginning?